Hello, welcome to my easy statistics. Please like, share and subscribe the channel. Contact me for data analysis and training. You can contact me through email or WhatsApp. In this video, we will discuss the basic rules for selecting the statistical methods. The 5 basic rules for selecting the statistical methods. We will discuss 5 basic rules in this video. The first rule is know your objective. The second rule is understand your variables. Third is know the number of groups in the analysis. Fourth one, check for the data normality. Fifth one is paired or independent data. We'll see one rule after the other rule. The first rule is know your objectives. So know your objective means before we start the analysis, we need to know what we want to do. For example, we want to compare between the groups. So for comparing, we need to use a t-test or ANOVA test. For exploring the association between the variables, if we want to explore the association, then we are going to use chi-square test. If we want to find the relationship between the variables, then we must use correlation analysis. If you want to find the impact, that is predicting an outcome, then we are going to use regression analysis. So basing on the purpose or basing on the objective, the type of test will depend. The second objective is understand your variables. That is, measurement types need to be understood. We need to understand whether data is categorical or numerical. If they are categorical variables, it is in the association. If you have two categorical variables, then we are going to use chi-square test. For example, we want to find the association between gender towards disease status, then we are going to use chi-square test. If you want to find the association between numerical variables, for example, I want to have association between blood pressure between two groups, then I am going to use the t-test. You can observe, basing on the measurement type of the variables, we are using different test. For categorical, if both are categorical, we are using chi-square test. If you want to know compare between the two numerical variables between two groups, then we are using t-test. This is the second rule. Third rule is know the number of groups. In the analysis, we need to know how many groups we are involving in the analysis. For example, we have only two groups, exactly two groups. Then we are going to use a t-test, whether it is independent t-test or paired t-test. If you are having more than two groups in the analysis, then we are going to use ANOVA test. So basing on the number of groups also will decide the type of test which we are going to use. Like this case, exactly two groups, independent. Exactly more than two groups, ANOVA test. Two groups, independent t-test. So basing on the number of groups, the test will change. The fourth rule is check for data normality. If the data is numerical and the data is normally distributed, we are going to use you are going to use parametric test, that is t-test or ANOVA test. If the data is not normally distributed, then we are going to use non-parametric test like Mann-Whitney test or Kruskal-Wallis test. So we are going to decide the statistical method basing on the data normality also. If the data is normally distributed, then parametric. Data is not normally distributed, non-parametric method we are going to use. And the fifth one is paired or independent relationship between the variables. If we have two variables and these variables are dependent, in the sense like we are doing a test before marks before exam and training and after training. Okay, In that cases, we are going to use a paid t-test, Wilcoxon sign rank test. If the observations are from the same individuals before and after treatment, then we are going to use a paid t-test. If they are independent, like you are just comparing between male and female exam marks, then you can use independent t-test or Mann-Whitney u-test. So the fifth rule is basing on is the data paid or independent, the test will change. So basic 5 rules we have discussed in this video, basing on which the type of test will be decided. Number 1, know your objective, purpose of the test. Number 2, understanding the variables, that is measurement types. Number 3, know the number of groups, how many groups are there in the test. Number 4, check for the data normality. Basing on the normality, test will change. And the fifth one is understand the relationship between the data. Is it a paid data or independent data? So these are the important rules for deciding or selecting the statistical methods.